Hello, fabulous parents and students. This is Mrs. Phyllis coming to you with another tutorial on rhythm. Before we get into it, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. That way you will be able to receive more videos promptly. Okay, rhythm. It's so important, and it's the first thing, one of the first things that I teach on with regard to the reading of the music. I start with rhythm, and how wonderful it is that you are in my Suzuki classes, and we begin with our Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star variations. These are rhythm patterns that look like this. So you should have received a packet, a folder containing beginning music activities such as this when you signed up. And so this is what today's video tutorial is addressing. Now, the other day in my Suzuki class, we had fun going over these Twinkle Twinkle Little Star variations. Students learned how to describe them. They learned how to listen and hear them and identify them by how they sound, and also, of course, by sight. And so this is what I want to talk about, just to summarize kind of what we did in class the other day. And especially if you missed the class, this video serves as a reminder, a supplement for you to, to review. And so let's begin. I also encourage you, I'm going to share my screen here, and I encourage you to take notes as you're watching the video, because there may be some words that I say, music words, music vocabulary words that I want you to know. And so here is the picture of our Twinkle Twinkle Little Star variations. And again, these are found in your book 1, at the beginning of your book 1. Let's jump down to the bottom here. These pictures of sound at the bottom here are comprised of quarter notes, the ones that are black, quarter notes, and at the end, a half note. Now, each picture of sound that you see on this page, you see how you have your different rhythms, your different patterns, different pictures, they look different. And this is something I did in class. I asked the students to go and take a look and describe, what do they see, and not to like overthink it, just describe what you see. And so that's what I would like for you to do, like as we go through these. How do they look to you? Because that's going to help you to remember not just how they look, but what they are, what they're called, how they sound. Okay, you can put kind of your own words to how they look. But let's start here at the bottom, because this pattern here is the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star theme. That's a word you should write down. The theme. What is a theme? So in music, the theme is the melody or the song, the tune. It's, it's what you sing, what you hum over and over again. That's the theme. Okay? And we all know Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. We can all sing it, we can play it. In class, when I'm starting with rhythms, I always have students clap the pictures of what they see. We'll do that in a moment. But let me first play the theme so you can know what I'm talking about fully. So this is Twinkle Twinkle Little Star theme. So what did you notice about that? There's so much we could talk about with just that alone. Maybe I'll have to make another video where we just talk about that, um, the twinkle theme. But let's move on because I want to go through all of these so that way you can get to it and practice on your own. So what I just played, these are the long notes, quarter notes and the half notes. So when we think of a quarter note, the syllable that I like to use is ta. So when you see a picture of the colored note, that's ta. The one that is not colored, that's the half note, and that is called ta, because it's longer. So when we're clapping this pattern, another vocabulary word, a pattern or rhythm pattern, is just a group of notes. They can be the same or a combination of different notes that's together. So this rhythm pattern here consists of quarter notes and a half note. So we can clap it like this. Ta, 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 ta. Okay, or we can say quarter, 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 half note. Okay, that's the theme. Now, we have 5 variations. In your book 1, you will see these labeled as variation A, variation B, variation C, variation D, and variation E. Okay, that is just to show you that there are 5 variations based on the theme. The first variation is what I call teary, teary, tee, tee. And it sounds like this when we clap it. Teary, teary, tee, tee. And notice I'm clapping all of the syllables of, or all of the sounds or all of the parts of these first 4 notes here, right? Teary, teary. Okay? And so if I ask you to describe how does this look? One student said that this is a group of 4 notes. And this is a group of 2 notes. What's different about them, though? The group of 4 notes is connected by 2, here's another vocabulary word, beams. B-E-A-M. Beam, like a balance beam in gymnastics. Beam. These are called beams. So these notes are connected by a beam. The 2, this is called 16th notes. And these, with the 1 beam, 8th note. So these are 2 8th notes. 2 8th notes. And these are the 16th note. So I call this pattern teary, teary, tee, tee. I've used other words to describe this, such as motorcycle, stop, stop. See how the words go with the pattern? Or Indiana, stop, stop. Okay, when I was growing up, when I was first taking violin lessons, the Suzuki class that I was part of, the teacher called this Mississippi, stop, stop. So there's, different words that you can use to illustrate these rhythms. So on the violin, this one sounds like this. And I'll play it on the A string. See that? Motorcycle, stop, stop. And see what the bow is doing? On the 2 8th notes, you're stopping the bow. That's why I like to say stop, stop. And we can talk more about why it sounds like that as opposed to this. Listen to if I play the 8th notes this way. You hear the difference? I made the 8th notes longer. But if you look in your music, the 8th notes are articulated in a certain way. But I'm jumping ahead. We will get into that later. But just play this as motorcycle, stop, stop. I want you to stop the bow on those 8th notes. Okay, so one more time for variation A. Let's move on to variation B. Right here, what do you notice? So these are all 8th notes, but in the middle of in between the 2nd and 3rd 8th note is an eighth rest. This is what an eighth rest looks like. And please know that for every note value, there is a rest value. Just keep that in your back pocket. Now let's talk about this. Earlier I said that these are 2/8 notes, right? There's different ways to write eighth notes. In addition to the 2/8 notes, we can write them as one. This is what 1/8 note looks like. And I call this pattern ice cream cone. And it sounds like this. Okay? Clapping it and ice cream cone. Notice during the rest, I don't play. I'm not speaking, but I'm counting that beat, and I'm saying my hands are silent. I'm not playing. Ice cream cone, and that's why I like to have the students say shh, so that they don't play. Right? They're resting during that rest. So ice cream cone. Ice cream cone. All right, let's move on to variation C. What do you notice here? So you have two groups of notes. There's 3 notes in the first group, 3 notes in the second group. They're both the same. But what's going on with the notes? So here we have 1/8 note connected to 2 16th notes. We can call this pattern T-teary, T-teary. I like to call it down wiggle, up wiggle because of how the bow is moving. On the first 8th note, our bow goes down and then we wiggle. On the second 8th note, we go up, the bow goes up, and then we wiggle. It sounds like this. See, I'll do it again. So that's variation C. Moving on to variation D, you also have 2 groups of notes that are the same. There are 3 notes in each group here. And on top you see they're connected with the number 3. So this is just showing you, this is called a triplet. Triplet, triplet, right? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But I call this, I like to use the word pineapple for this rhythm. Pineapple, pineapple. And this one goes like this. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Pineapple, pineapple. All right, and lastly, variation E. Again, we have 2 groups of notes. There are 4 in each group. And you should know by now what these notes are called, because where have we seen this one? That's right, in variation A. Right? But what's different about variation A and variation E? You see the difference? In variation E, both groups of notes are the same. And we call this one, we can say motorcycle, motorcycle, or whatever word that has 4 syllables that you want to use. You could also say teary, 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 teary for this one, okay? Or Cinderella, Cinderella. I have some students that like to use Cinderella. And then I have some students that like to say motorcycle, motorcycle for that. So this one sounds like this. See that? So practice clapping these variations, and of course listen to the video that I sent where you can listen to and then eventually play along with these Suzuki variations. And you should be able to identify these variations by sight as well as by hearing. And that's one of the things we did in class the other day. I played a pattern. I played one of the patterns and students had to tell me which one it is. So let's give it a try. Can you identify what pattern is this? Was it variation A, B, C, D, or E? If you guessed variation B, which is this one, you are correct. So we will do more games like that in class. So please practice well this week, and I will see you soon.